Genesis 1-2. Now the earth was formless and empty. Darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. The earth was formless and empty, a place without shape, without life, without identity. There was no structure, no direction, nothing to define its existence. Just a vast, endless space cloaked in darkness, where time had not yet begun and meaning had not yet emerged. It was the kind of stillness that feels infinite, the kind of silence that makes you question if anything will ever change. But even in that void, the Spirit of God was there, not absent, not silent, present, hovering over the waters, moving gently, preparing for creation. It's a powerful image, God, not rushing, not speaking immediately, but hovering, waiting, watching, ready. That's the kind of presence we so often miss in our lives. We look at the darkness around us, the confusion, the unknown, and we assume we are alone. We think that because nothing is happening, nothing is possible. But the truth is, even in the void, even when everything seems still, the Spirit is there, close, nearer than you think, preparing the ground for what's to come. This beginning isn't just about the universe, it's about your story too. Because there are moments in life when you feel formless, when your days feel empty, your purpose feels unclear, and you feel like you're floating in a sea of questions with no anchor in sight. The dreams you once held close have slipped from your grip. The structure you built your identity on has collapsed. The light you used to follow has dimmed. And in the silence, you wonder if anything good can come out of this space. But the very first chapter of existence tells us something profound, that the presence of God doesn't require perfection. It doesn't wait for the light to show up. It moves in darkness. It breathes over emptiness. It brings order out of chaos. The same Spirit that hovered over the unformed earth is the same Spirit that hovers over you right now. In your mess, in your loss, in your waiting. That presence is not dependent on your success or your strength. It's not repelled by your uncertainty or your fear. In fact, that's exactly where it shows up. We often look for God in the big moments, in the miracles, the breakthroughs, the loud displays of power. But creation didn't begin with a bang. It began with stillness, with hovering, with presence. And that means your new beginning might not arrive in the way you expect. It might not be loud. It might not feel dramatic. It might feel like a whisper, a soft shift, a quiet stirring in your spirit. And that's enough. Because all creation needs is one spark, one word, one breath. There's something sacred about the waiting space, the in-between, the void before the voice. It's uncomfortable, yes, but it's not empty. It's pregnant with potential. It's full of possibilities that haven't taken shape yet. And the Spirit is there, hovering over it all, ready to bring order, ready to bring light, ready to bring life. You don't have to understand how or when. You just need to know that you're not alone in the darkness. There is purpose in the pause. That moment before God speaks is one of the most powerful moments in the entire creation story, because it reminds us that presence comes before progress. Connection comes before clarity. Sometimes the Spirit will just hover, not to delay, but to prepare, to align what needs to be aligned, to shape what needs to be shaped, to whisper to you in ways the noise never could. It's in those quiet, unformed spaces that transformation begins. Your life may feel formless right now. But that doesn't mean it's hopeless. It means you're at the start of something. And beginnings never look like endings. They rarely feel glorious. Most of the time, they feel like confusion, like stillness, like waiting in the dark. But what if the darkness isn't your enemy? What if it's the space where light is about to be born? Don't rush through your formless seasons. Don't despise the void. Don't let the silence fool you into thinking nothing is happening. Something is happening, deep under the surface, beyond what you can see. The spirit is hovering. And when the time is right, when the preparation is complete, the voice will speak, and light will come, direction will come, identity will come. This beginning wasn't random. It wasn't chaotic. It was intentional, divine, designed. And so is yours. Your beginning matters. Your silence matters. Your stillness matters. You are not falling apart. You are being formed. You are not lost. You are being led. Every part of your journey, even the dark ones, even the confusing ones, are held within the hands of the Creator. So let the Spirit hover. Let it breathe over the waters of your soul. Let it cover the places you can't fix. Let it move over your deepest questions, your hidden pain, your quiet hopes. Trust that the same God who brought light from darkness is doing something in you too. He is not in a hurry. He is not unaware. He is present. He is working. And when He speaks, everything will change. But even before the light comes, even before the structure takes shape, you are already held, already loved, already seen. The void does not disqualify you. The darkness does not define you. The emptiness does not erase your worth. It simply sets the stage for creation. So take a breath, feel the stillness, embrace the quiet, and know that the Spirit of God is near, not waiting for you to be ready, but already moving, already planning, already preparing. This is your beginning, and something beautiful is already unfolding. We all go through seasons like that, times when everything feels uncertain, fragile, and heavy. When you wake up and the weight in your chest is the first thing you feel, when the silence around you echoes too loudly, when your thoughts are a storm you can't calm and the future feels like a fog you can't see through. We don't talk about it often, but the truth is, everyone has these moments. Times when life feels dark and meaningless, when all your plans feel broken or scattered, when you look in the mirror and barely recognize the person staring back. There's confusion in your eyes, not because you're weak, but because life has thrown too many punches in too short a time. You tried, you gave your heart, you followed the path you believed was right, but now you're left standing in the middle of the pieces, wondering how it all slipped through your hands. You ask questions that don't have answers. You wonder, why am I here? What's the point? Does any of this even matter anymore? And in those questions, it's easy to feel invisible, to feel like maybe you missed something, or worse, like maybe you were never meant for more. But remember this, even before the light came, God was already there. Even before anything made sense, the Spirit was already moving. Long before the world had form or beauty or meaning, He was present, hovering, waiting, preparing, not panicked, not in a hurry, just steady, faithful, unseen, but never absent. And that same Spirit that moved over the waters before the first sunrise is the same Spirit moving through the waters of your life right now. It may not feel like it. You may not sense any movement at all. That's the hard part about faith. Sometimes it's trusting in what you can't feel, in what you can't see. But just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not happening. Just because the light hasn't come yet doesn't mean it won't. God doesn't need light to begin. He creates it. He brings it into being out of nothing. So even if your world feels dark, it's not beyond His reach. Even if you don't understand the season you're in, you're still in His hands. You're allowed to have questions. You're allowed to not have it all together. That doesn't make you less. It makes you human, and it's in those fragile, honest places where grace often meets us most powerfully. You don't have to hide your pain to be seen by God. He sees you exactly where you are. In the tears you cry when no one's watching. In the battles you fight in your own mind. In the exhaustion that's not just physical but emotional. He sees it all. And more than that, He's not disappointed in you. He's not waiting for you to snap out of it or prove something. He's simply with you. Quietly, completely. This season doesn't define your future. It doesn't cancel your purpose. It doesn't mean you're failing. It means you're in a moment where something is being reshaped. Maybe it's your identity. Maybe it's your faith. Maybe it's the way you love yourself. Whatever it is, it matters. And even if you feel like nothing is happening, something is. The Spirit is hovering. The ground beneath your feet is being prepared for something you can't see yet. There is something holy about seasons of darkness. Not because the pain is good, but because that's where we often learn to hear differently, see differently, trust differently. That's where dependence replaces pride, where surrender takes the place of control, where transformation isn't just about becoming stronger, but about becoming softer, more open, more aware of the presence that's been with us all along. You don't need to fix everything right now. You don't need to rush to a solution. You don't need to escape the season. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is stay present, stay honest, stay open. Let the Spirit do what you cannot. Let God bring the light when the time is right. Your job isn't to force clarity. Your job is to remain willing, to keep your heart soft, to not let the darkness harden you. Because this is not the end. It's a chapter, not the whole story. And while it may feel long and heavy, it is leading somewhere. Light is coming. It always does. It might not look the way you expect, and it might not come as fast as you'd like, but it will come. The same way it came in the beginning, through a word, through a spark, through a shift in the silence. You are not forgotten. You are not invisible. You are not unloved. And nothing you're going through is wasted. Every tear matters. Every prayer, even the quiet ones whispered in desperation, is heard. And every part of your story, even the ones you wish you could erase, are being used for something greater, something deeper, something more beautiful than you can see from here. So don't give up. Not now, not in this moment. Let yourself feel, but don't let the feelings decide your future. Let yourself rest, but don't confuse rest with defeat. Let yourself question, but don't let the questions drown out the whisper of hope. Because even in the darkest void, even in the heaviest silence, God is moving. He hasn't stopped. He hasn't forgotten. He's just working in ways you can't yet see. And when the time comes, when your soul is ready to receive it, the light will come, gently, faithfully, powerfully, and you'll look back on this season not with regret, but with reverence. Because it was in this season that something deep inside you began to awaken. It was in this season that you realized you were never alone. Genesis 1-2 shows us something powerful, something we often miss in our rush to reach the light. Before there was purpose, there was emptiness. Before there was order, there was chaos. Before there was beauty, there was brokenness. And yet, God didn't turn away. He didn't reject the darkness. He didn't wait for the conditions to improve. He stepped into the void. He moved through it. He hovered over it. He worked in it. And that changes everything, because that means your chaos isn't wasted. Your confusion isn't failure. Your brokenness isn't the end of your story. It's the beginning of something extraordinary. We're taught to fear the dark seasons, to escape them, fix them, deny them. But Genesis tells a different story, a truer story, one where the dark isn't a dead end, it's a doorway. One where the mess isn't meaningless, it's the material from which miracles are made. God didn't speak light into a world that was already shining. He didn't create beauty out of perfection. He created out of formlessness. He brought purpose to what was without shape. That means the parts of your life that feel the most undone, the most scattered, uncertain, and painful, not beyond hope. They are not beyond healing. They are the very places where something new is getting ready to be born. So if you feel lost right now, if your mind is noisy and your heart is tired, if nothing makes sense and the pressure to be okay is suffocating, pause. Breathe. You're not disqualified. You're not defective. You are simply at the place where all great things begin. Right in the middle of chaos. We're told to strive for order, to build structure, to seek control. But God isn't afraid of what's unstructured. He doesn't panic in the face of chaos. He draws near to it. He hovers over it. He works through it. And that same spirit that moved over the wild, deep waters of the earth is still moving now over you, in you, through you. You may not see the progress, but that doesn't mean it's not happening. You may not feel the shift, but something is shifting. You are in the middle of a holy process, and holy processes are rarely clean or comfortable. They're messy, they stretch you, they break down what no longer serves you. They invite you to let go of what you've outgrown. That breaking isn't destruction, it's preparation. That shaking isn't punishment, it's alignment. The things that feel like they're falling apart may actually be falling into place. We want clarity, but what we need is trust. Trust that just like the earth before creation, your life may look void on the surface, but it is full of potential underneath. Trust that what feels like emptiness is actually fertile ground. Trust that when God moves, He doesn't always do it in ways you understand, but He always moves with purpose. He always creates with love, and He never abandons what He begins. This is your Genesis. Not just a beginning, but a sacred one, a divine turning point, a place where the old breaks open to make room for the new. Don't be afraid of the breaking. Don't run from the mess. There is glory being written in the dust of your confusion. There is hope being woven into the silence of your soul. You're not in a dead space, you're in a forming space. God never wastes anything, not even your doubt, not even your fear, not even the days when you don't want to get out of bed. He can use all of it. Every broken piece, every unanswered prayer, every chapter you thought was over. In His hands, it all has meaning. And in His time, it will all make sense. There's a boldness that rises when you realize your darkness doesn't scare God, when you understand that He meets you in your lowest moment, not to judge you, but to remind you of who you are, to speak life into your emptiness, to shape purpose from your pain. That boldness is your birthright. That power is your inheritance. You were never meant to carry the chaos alone. You were meant to rise through it. You may be asking, why me? why this? But maybe the better question is, what can come from this? What if your darkest moment is setting the stage for your brightest revelation? What if the storm is making room for peace you've never known? What if the breaking is preparing you for a breakthrough? What if everything you're facing isn't here to destroy you but to create something through you? Your story isn't stuck. Your life isn't over. You are not too broken, too late, too far. If God could form the world from a void, He can. Form your future from this. If He could bring order to the deep, He can bring clarity to your mind. If He could create beauty from the chaos of creation, then what's stopping Him from doing the same in you? You don't have to figure it all out. You just have to stay open. Open to the idea that this part of your journey, though hard, is necessary. Open to the truth that the Spirit is hovering even now, preparing, moving, speaking over you. And one day, maybe sooner than you think, He will say, "Let there be light." And you will shine in ways you never imagined. So don't let the chaos convince you you're lost. Don't let the void convince you there's nothing left. You are in the middle of becoming. You are walking through your genesis, and what begins in brokenness can end in beauty. What begins in silence can end in song. What begins in darkness can end in light. And when that light comes, you will understand it was never wasted. It was never for nothing. It was the beginning of something extraordinary. You may not see the light yet. You may not understand the path in front of you, or how all the pieces of your life will ever come together again. Everything might feel unclear, unfinished, unsettled. But just because you can't see the light doesn't mean it's not coming. Just because the path is hidden doesn't mean you're lost. The Spirit is still near, present, active, moving even in silence, hovering over your heart, your situation, your chaos, not judging, not demanding perfection, but creating, forming, preparing something you cannot yet see. God is not waiting for you to have it all together. He's not waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect version of you, or the perfect set of circumstances. He creates from imperfection. He works in the dark. He builds from the broken. That is the divine pattern we see again and again from the beginning of time through every story of transformation. God uses what's raw, what's messy, what feels unfinished, because that's where His power shines the brightest. You are not behind. You are not failing because you feel lost. You are not weak because you're tired. You're human. You're becoming. You're in a sacred place where something is taking shape, even if you don't recognize it yet. The dark doesn't mean you've been abandoned. It doesn't mean nothing is happening. It means the process has begun. Creation doesn't start with clarity. It starts in the void, in the deep, in the quiet, in the places we often try to avoid. So don't give up when life feels empty. Don't give up when your soul feels heavy and your direction unclear. That feeling of emptiness is not a sign that you're finished. It's a sign that you're at the beginning of growth, of discovery, of becoming someone stronger, wiser, more compassionate, more aligned with who you were always meant to be. This season might not look beautiful, but it is building something beautiful inside of you. Don't panic in the dark. That's where creation begins. That's where transformation takes root. It's in the unseen places that the deepest change happens. When seeds are planted, they're buried in darkness before they ever bloom in the light. And just like those seeds, something inside you is growing quietly, slowly, intentionally. It's okay if you can't explain it. It's okay if you don't have the answers yet. Trust the process. Trust that the Spirit knows what it's doing, even when you don't. There is strength being built in your stillness. There is courage being developed in your confusion. You're not standing still, you're being prepared. Every tear, every prayer, every quiet act of faith you take in this season is shaping your future. And one day, the light will come, not suddenly, but faithfully. And you'll see why it took the time it did. You'll understand that the darkness wasn't the enemy, it was the womb. The space where life was forming, where vision was growing, where your identity was being refined. You don't need to rush out of the discomfort. You don't need to fix everything overnight. Some of the most powerful shifts happen when you choose to remain steady in uncertainty. When you hold on to hope even when you don't feel it. When you decide, even quietly, not to give up. That's a kind of faith that moves mountains. Not loud, but resilient. Not flashy, but enduring. That's the kind of faith that invites miracles, and you carry that within you. Even if you feel small right now, even if you feel broken, you carry divine potential. You carry the breath of a creator who shaped galaxies and still knows the number of hairs on your head. You are not invisible. You are not forgotten. You are seen, known, and deeply loved, here, right now. Not the version of you that's healed and whole, but the version that's confused and hurting. That's where God meets you. That's where creation begins. So stand your ground, not because everything is perfect, but because something greater is being written. You don't have to understand it fully to believe it's real. You don't have to see the outcome to trust that the process is worth it. Keep showing up, keep breathing, keep hoping, not because of what you can do, but because of what God is doing even when you can't see it. You're not waiting for your life to begin. It's already happening. This moment, this breath, this choice to stay open is part of it. Every day you choose faith over fear, hope over despair, surrender over control. You are creating, you are partnering with the divine. You are walking in the image of your Creator. You may not be where you want to be yet. You may not understand why the path looks like this, but take heart. Every chapter has its purpose. Every struggle has its lesson, and every season has its beauty, even if it's only visible in hindsight. One day, the light will break through. One day, clarity will return. One day, the thing that hurts now will become part of a testimony that lifts others. But until then, remember, the Spirit is near. God is moving. And your darkness is not your defeat. Creation never starts with the finished product. It starts with the decision to begin. And you've already made it. By being here, by not giving up, by holding on, even when it would be easier to let go. So keep going, keep trusting, keep becoming, because the most powerful stories don't start with perfection. They start in the dark with someone who dared to believe that the light would come, and it will, for you, you, are in the genesis of your next chapter. Right here, right now, even if it doesn't look like it. Even if your life feels quiet, your heart feels heavy, and your dreams feel distant. You are not at the end. You are not stuck. You are not forgotten. You are standing at the edge of something new, a new chapter, a new beginning, a new breath. You may not have noticed the shift, but something is changing. Something is forming. Something sacred is rising from the silence. The Spirit is hovering over you. Just like in the beginning, when the earth was formless and empty, when darkness covered the deep and nothing made sense. God was not far. He was near. He was present. He didn't wait for the light. He created it. He didn't wait for beauty. He spoke it into being. And in the same way, His Spirit is near you now, hovering over your confusion, over your broken places, over your uncertainty, even when you don't feel it, even when everything seems lost. There is a power moving through the quiet of your life, a whisper in your soul that says, this is not the end. It may feel like you've been sitting in the dark for too long, like the silence is never going to break, but silence is not absence. Darkness is not defeat. The deep is not a sign that nothing is happening. It's a space where miracles begin, a place where God speaks the loudest without saying a word. Out of that deep, something is rising. Out of that silence, something is shifting. Out of that nothingness, God will speak, and when He does, your world will change. Not slowly, not someday, but in a moment, with a word, with a breath. That's all it takes. That's all it ever took. One word, let there be, and everything began to move. That same voice that shaped the stars is speaking over your life. That same breath that gave light its first spark is breathing into your spirit. That same Spirit that hovered over the waters in Genesis is hovering over the deep places in you, places you've tried to hide, places you've given up on, places you've forgotten how to hope for. And He's not done, not with you, not with your story, not with what He's building. You are not broken beyond repair. You are not too far gone. You are not behind. You are in process. You are in motion. You are in a divine moment of becoming, and what's coming is greater than what's behind. What's forming is more beautiful than what's been lost. This is the power of beginnings, that everything is fixed overnight, but that something new is born in you, something bold and full of light. You may not feel strong right now. You may be tired of holding on, but the fact that you're still standing, still breathing, still here, that matters. That's strength. That's courage. That's what faith looks like. It doesn't always roar. Sometimes it's just the quiet decision to not give up, to trust that even in the dark, something good is being written. Even in the waiting, something sacred is growing. You are being shaped in this moment, not punished, not overlooked, shaped. Just like the world was shaped out of chaos, your purpose is being shaped out of everything you've walked through. Every storm, every heartbreak, every disappointment, it's not in vain. God is gathering it all, holding it in His hands, and creating something from it that you wouldn't believe even if you saw it now. And when He speaks, everything will shift. Your heart will come alive. Your path will become clear. Your voice will find its sound again. Your strength will return, not as something borrowed, but as something birthed from the deepest part of you. And you will know wasn't the end. It was never the end. It was the beginning of a better chapter, a stronger you, a more real and raw and radiant version of who you were created to be. So don't run from the silence. Don't fear the deep. That's where light comes from. That's where resurrection happens. That's where beauty rises from the ashes. Your next chapter is not waiting for you to be perfect. It's waiting for you to believe again, to open your heart again, to trust that what feels like nothing now is actually full of divine possibility. You are standing in the in-between, the place where heaven touches earth and something holy begins to move. The Spirit is here. The silence is not empty. The darkness is not without purpose. You are not alone. You are in the genesis of something new, and soon the voice will speak. The light will break through, and you will rise, not as you were, but as who you were always meant to be. This is your moment. This is your breath. This is your genesis. And when God speaks, Your world will never be the same, so breathe. Let go of the tension you've been holding in your chest. Let go of the pressure to figure it all out, to be okay, to have the answers. Just breathe, deeply, slowly, honestly. Let yourself be present, right here, in this moment. Because this moment is enough. You are enough. You don't need to fix everything today. You don't need to solve the whole puzzle. You just need to rest in the truth that you are not alone. Let the darkness pass. Don't fight it. Don't fear it. Don't rush it. Darkness is not your enemy. It is simply the space between who you were and who you were becoming. It is the pause between the question and the answer, between the pain and the healing, between the end and the beginning. You may not be able to see clearly right now, but the darkness will not last forever. It never does. Light is always on its way, and while you wait, don't run from the emptiness. Emptiness doesn't mean you're broken. It doesn't mean you're finished. It means there's room for something new to be born, room for something sacred to take shape. The void isn't lifeless. It's full of potential. That's the place where miracles begin, where transformation starts, where faith deepens. It's not a space of absent seats, a space of preparation. Just like Genesis, your new beginning is already in motion. You might not feel it. You might not be able to name it or explain it, but something inside you is shifting. There is a quiet unfolding happening beneath the surface. A slow, deliberate recreation of your life, your heart, your purpose. The pieces may still be scattered. The path may still be unclear, but the work has already begun. The breath of God is already hovering. The first page has already turned. In Genesis, there was no clarity at first, no structure, no beauty, no order, just chaos, just deep waters and darkness. And yet, even when nothing made sense, the Spirit of God was already there, not waiting on the sidelines, not observing from a distance. He was moving, hovering, covering the chaos with His presence, preparing the earth for what was to come. And He's doing the same with you. You are not forgotten in the void. You are not abandoned in your confusion. You are not being punished in your pain. You are being shaped. You are being softened. You are being prepared. Sometimes the greatest gifts come wrapped in silence. Sometimes the most profound growth happens in the stillness. When there's no noise to distract you, when there's nothing left to hold on to but faith, that's where you find Him. Not always in the loud moments, often in the quiet. The Spirit of God is not afraid of your questions. He's not uncomfortable with your doubts. He doesn't turn away from your struggle. In fact, He leans in. He draws closer. He walks with you through the shadows, not because He needs to prove anything, but because He loves you. Because He sees what you can't yet see. Because He knows the end from the beginning. And He knows that your beginning is sacred. There is peace in knowing that you don't have to create your own light. That you don't have to force clarity to come. That you don't have to perform for God to stay close. You just have to be. Be honest. Be still. Be present. Because He is already here. In your questions. In your waiting. He is not finished with your story. He is just getting started. And this beginning, though quiet, is powerful. This chapter, though uncertain, is full of grace. The darkness you've been walking through is not wasted its holy ground. It's the same ground where creation was born. The same place where stars were spoken into existence. The same space where light first broke the silence. And that same creative power is at work in you. You are becoming, slowly, beautifully, painfully sometimes, but becoming nonetheless. So give yourself grace, give yourself time. Don't rush this process. Don't try to measure it by the world's standards. This is sacred work, and sacred things take time. Let your soul breathe. Let your spirit rest. Let the process unfold. Trust that the Spirit who hovered over the waters in Genesis is the same Spirit who hovers over your life now. He is not discouraged by your doubts. He is not distracted by your mess. He is not disappointed in your pace. He is steady, faithful, constant, and His presence is enough. So when the night feels long, when the silence feels too heavy, when the emptiness feels unbearable, remember this: you are not alone. The Spirit of God is with you. He is for you. He is within you. And He is working, even here. Even now, you don't have to feel strong to be strong. You don't have to know the ending to trust the journey. You just have to keep breathing. Keep believing. Keep showing up. Not perfectly, but honestly. Because even when nothing made sense, the Spirit of God was already there. And so is He with you. Always, in every dark moment, in every quiet beginning, in every silent prayer. He is not far. He is not later. He is now. And just like in the beginning, He will speak again. Light will come again. Life will rise again. And when it does, you'll know it started here. In this moment, in this breath, in this holy emptiness that was never empty at all.